November 18th at the Elm Core Center in Queens, New York, JR Hines is going to be taking on Anthony Sipolik. And now listen, JR, you come from the K1 background, and I want to thank you for coming on the show. You know, this is a big fight.
Yeah, it definitely is. You know, you've got one of the best Muay Thai practitioners, you know, in his weight class. He's an awesome guy, and he's an awesome fighter. And then you have me, who, for my weight class, my perspective, like I'm one of the best in the world as far as the K1 and the Dutch style kickboxing. So we're gonna clash, and we're gonna meet in the ring, and we're gonna see which one is a little bit better, you know. And I'm praying that I have a better night than he does, obviously. But you know, it's about promoting our sport and being able to do the things that we love. You know, I turned pro when I was 16, and I've been doing this for a long time. I think he turned pro when he's like 20, 21, so he had a later start, which is tremendous because of all the accomplishments, all the different world titles and national titles and stuff that he has.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Anthony is done well. There's no doubt about it. He is a Muay Thai fighter. He's fought, you know, other disciplines. I know he was in Europe and gave K1 a shot. I know it was rough. He also has done MMA, as you have as well. Now, it's my belief that the baddest strikers on the planet come from K1.
Yeah, we definitely are. But again, even though we're some of the baddest strikers in the world, we kick harder, and we take a lot more punishment. You still got to think about it. This isn't a K1 fight. You know, this isn't Dutch kickboxing. It's his world. It's Muay Thai. You know, and a lot of the differences is like, he's got that clinch, and he's got a really good clinch. His sweeps and his dumps, they're amazing. He's going to Thailand and he's dumping world champions. You know, these are guys who originated this, and he's dumping them. He's able to do it with ease. So, you know, it's his world. So what I've got to do is I've got to follow those rules, but I've still got to make it my fight, my style of fighting, and incorporate my skill set, you know, to win this.
Well, and that's exactly it. I mean, people might not know what a big difference it is when you go from K1 to Muay Thai. When you're that clinch and the sweeps, it's just a different ball game. Now you, as a K1 guy with background, but you've been fighting Muay Thai now, and I know it's been over the last year or so. You've really, you know, got into it and have done very well.
Yeah, I have. What I've done is I've taken my Dutch kickboxing, and I've incorporated a lot more of the clinches and some of my sweep defense. Now, obviously, it's not going to be like the world class dumps and the sweeps and everything else, but I've learned to better counter some of those moves, so it gives me that chance and opportunity. Well, in a few of my my earlier Thai fights, you know, earlier this year, I've realized that if I keep my strong pace, I work my cardio, and I introduce some of this Dutch style power in these Muay Thai matches, you know, maybe this is going to work out, you know, and it's been really effective for me. You know, I fought Anthony for the ISK North American title as about a year, maybe a little bit more ago, and you know, he got to feel a little power, but then, you know, that it was his game and his world, and you know, I got dumped one too many times, and you know, and it played out to his advantage, and you know, I'm happy for him. You know, he's a good guy and everything else, and he definitely deserved that. He was a better man that day. But since then, I've definitely been working on that and those defenses from that. So you guys are going to get to see some true Dutch kickboxing and some K1 style kickboxing in there, and you guys are going to get to still see that traditional Muay Thai. You're just going to get to see it at a faster rate, and
exactly.
There's going to be a faster rate than what he's used to.
Well, and that's something that I had said to you earlier. I think, you know, when you watch Muay Thai, it usually starts out fairly slow. It's a slow pace. The guys come out slow. They're feeling each other out. And there's a lot of straightforward, straight back. Now in K1, guys come out heavy and they come out hard, but there's a lot of footwork and angles and movement that you don't really see in Muay Thai. And that's not to knock Muay Thai. It's just a fact. There's more footwork in the K1. That's got to be something that you're looking to use and to use to your advantage.
I definitely am, but it's a common misconception that they don't have that movement. A lot of the great Muay Thai practitioners, they really do have super great movement. You know, the thing, just like any other art, you know, I hate really saying the traditional, even though I do say traditional quite a bit. As it goes along, because like there are no forms and everything else for it, you know, it's purely combative. You get other guys that come in like me, you know, Dutch kickboxers who are really good at their art and stuff, and then we get into Muay Thai and we do well at it. Well, you know, these Thai guys and some of these traditional Thai guys, they start to incorporate some of the movement and everything else. Now they're still Thai guys and they still have those same traditions, but they're still using some of our techniques and they're incorporating in that, and it's making them better. You know, they're growing and then the sport's growing. So, you know, Anthony's side of that is he has more of the traditional side of it, which isn't bad, because finding guys who have that background for me to spar against is really tough, because I'm finding where a lot of my sparring partners who do the Muay Thai and everything else are not doing the traditional forms. You know, they're hitting those angles and everything. And I'm working real well against it, but, you know, he's stagnant and he's going back and forth, and you wouldn't think that it would be that hard, but it is. You know, even with that, he was able to defeat me last time. So, you know, it's something I've got to look out for and that I'm still working on. And me and my camp, we believe that we have a game plan for him this time.
And you can't underestimate the fact that, JR, you are a competitor. Obviously, you're a natural fighter. You would not be doing this if you weren't. And you want that back. You want that back. So this is your opportunity to give that back to Anthony. And let's be honest, too. Anthony is, I believe, ranked 7th in the WBC rankings. So,
and he's earned it. I mean, this guy, he's got, what, 4 or 5 world titles in Muay Thai. Like, hell, last year he flew over to Europe and he gave my sport a try. You know, he held his own. You know, but he was out of his element. But still, a guy who goes out of his element, he's willing to do that and compete against world champions for their belts. You know, that says a lot. He's tough. He's tough as nails. Like, I've hit him with a few hard shots on the last fight, and you know, he smiled the whole time, and I'm like, man, dude, I put some power behind that, and he's smiling. I don't know if it's hurt or not, but hey, let's play. And you know, as long as we're having fun, we're loving what we're doing, it's going to be an amazing fight. It definitely is.
Between the fighters is something that is, I mean, you have to really appreciate that. But once you step in the ring, it's time to fight. And that's when JR is looking to knock your head off. Now, I don't want to get into the game plan, but you want to keep this fight at distance, I would assume.
I want to try to do a medium, you know, a medium deal, because, you know, the difference in the kicks, you know, between the Thai and the Dutch kicks and everything else, like, once he has that distance on his kicks and he's able to turn those over, they're chopping down trees with him. So I don't want to give too much distance on that and let him get that power on that one. But I also don't want to get too close, even though I've worked on that defense and everything else. You're talking about, I've had a year of working on those defenses, super strong and everything else, and getting good. And then you've got a guy who's spent years and years perfecting his craft. So I definitely don't want to get caught in that clinch. So a happy medium for me is that medium range. Now, in that medium range, that still gives him his elbows. That still gives him that lateral motion that he's used to and that he's really good at. Plus, it puts me in danger of getting put in that clinch. But he gets to taste power. So we've got his technique versus my power. And fights like that, they make for great fights. They definitely do. I love seeing it. I hate seeing that fight where you got a dude who's super technical and then you got the other guy who he can't figure it out. Not at all. He's not skilled at any aspect of it. You know, I hate fights like that. But then you get a guy who's super skilled at one thing, and then you got a guy who's super skilled at something else, and they clash, and the whole time it's like a chess match, and we're trying to figure out what's going to work. You know, what's going to get the job done. And the whole time we're loving it, smiling, and having fun. Blood everywhere. We're still smiling, having fun, loving the hell out of it.
And I mean, for me, it's amazing the type of abuse that you're able to tolerate and take and continue fighting. I mean, the smile is just an extra bonus. But as a fan, this is a fight I'm really, really looking forward to. And the fact that we're bringing Muay Thai here to Queens in New York, and I know you've got some fans there that are going to be waiting for this fight. This is a sport you know, combat has really evolved, and MMA took a driver's seat for a while. It's starting to slow. Things are catching. Muay Thai is a sport that any fan of combat, they just have to watch it to really enjoy and love and appreciate what you guys do.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, because like I'm world ranking in K1, and I have world ranking in Muay Thai. It's just not. It's nowhere close to what Anthony's is. But the perspective on that one is, hey, I mean, he's a tactician. That's great and all, but once that bell rings and we're fighting, the only difference between my art and his art, seriously, is the clinch and the ability to do those dunks. That's the only difference. Other than that, we're still allowed to punch each other. We're still allowed to knee each other and kicks, you know, and they can have the elbows, but guess what? I have good elbows too. So I mean, it's gonna be wonderful and great. And like, I wish that a lot more states would regulate the full rules Muay Thai. That way, the fan base and everything else could be there, and us here in the U.S. don't have to fly to other countries to get fights. I mean, it's tough getting fights here. It really is. And for a promoter to have to fly someone from another country in here to fight us, it's not cost effective. So a lot of times we're just not going to get that fight. And that definitely sucks. And the same thing goes for my K1 and my Dutch kickboxing. It's hard for me to find fights here in the U.S., but it's not impossible. It's a lot easier for me to find fights here in the U.S. doing my K1 and my Dutch style kickboxing and even full contact kickboxing as opposed to Muay Thai. There's only a few Muay Thai organizations here in the U.S. that actually do pro Muay Thai. You know, there's maybe 10 or 15 that do Muay Thai, and out of those 10 or 15, only 2 or 3 of them do pro, just because of the states that they're in. And it sucks that you can allow MMA, you know, with elbows and everything else in your state, but not allow full rules Muay Thai. And a lot of those guys take a lot more damage than we do. Because if they're on the ground and they're getting these elbows, they're taking that constant damage. If I'm standing up and I hit you with a plush elbow, you're going to sleep. Or you're cut wide open. The fight is stopped. So they're taking more damage, but it's legal to do the MMA and not the full rules Muay Thai. And I don't understand it. Not at all.
Well, there's something that I love about this right here, JR, and that is the fact that everyone looks at the fighters and they see, you know, these brutes, they're fighters, they're killers. You are an educated man. You have done a lot with your education.
I definitely can. I have my bachelor's from Bridgeport University in Connecticut in business, and also in martial law. I have an MBA from Frankfurt School of Business and Finance in Frankfurt, Germany, where I was born at. I also have a PhD in metaphysics from Frankfurt University as well. So I am educated, but when I came here, I would get jobs, and they just weren't a fit for me. I didn't like them, and then I went to a hospital and I became a group counselor, and I was using my PhD there as a doctor, and I would take the stuff home with me. There's, you're counseling these families, then you go home to your family, and it's not something that you could shut off. I couldn't do it. And eventually it was something that I never wanted to do again. Well, I still had the education and everything else, so I knew I could get a job, but I was like, you know what? I love fighting. I'm going to try to stick with it. Well, I do it now, and I'll probably do it in some aspect to the day that I die, but financially, for me, it's not cost effective to where I can just do it, full time. It's not, if I was in another country, yeah. But for me here, I can't. If I went back home and left my family here and stuff like that, I could. I'm not going to do that. Go home and visit. Yeah, every now and then, yeah. But, I like it here. I really do.
It's shocking. It's shocking that you can have some of the best fighters in the world on this planet. They're working full-time jobs. They're fighting for really what is, in my opinion, little money. It's a passion. It is a passion. And you talk about taking that home. This gives you an outlet for sure. And I'll tell you what. You have done some great things yourself, JR. You are on the verge right now of going into this Muay Thai fight, taking Anthony out and taking his spot in the rankings. And that would be, I'm assuming, pretty good for you.
Yeah, I mean, it would be huge for me, but I don't want to downplay this fight at all. I know that I'm not going to run through this man. I know it. I know it's going to be a tough fight, but I'm confident that I can win it. But a victory over him in those rankings, I mean, it'll be able to get me those fights on some of these bigger cards that we have here. I won't have to fly all over the world for a fight. I can fight here at home. It gets me out there. And the same thing goes for him. It's like, hey, he's just beat a K1 guy. He just his last 4 K1 fights, they didn't go his way. Well, now he's getting a chance again to beat up, a K1 world champion. So, it looks good on his part as well, and it gets him out there too. So, we both have the opportunity, and we're both, still wanting to climb a little bit higher. We both still have world titles, but we're still trying to climb higher and make money and, just feed our families as well.
You know what? There's nothing better than seeing that passion and watching two warriors who have dedicated so much of their lives to get in the ring and to lay it all out there for the fans. Now, this card, as I said, is going to be in Queens, New York. I know they're going to have the 4-man elimination amateur title on the line in there as well. There's going to be some really good fights on this event. This is, I know that my fight I'm looking forward to here is obviously JR and Anthony, but we've got 2 WBC titles on the line. We've got the national title. We also have the amateur title as well with the American Muay Thai League. So this is going to be one hell of a night.
Yeah, I'm actually interested in a few of those amateur fights. Remy, he's got, I believe it's his nephew that's actually fighting for one of the titles on that card. One of the it's an amazing gym that they've got, and every event, like major event that I've fought in, him or one of his relatives is in it. And, and most of the time they win fight of the night. No joke. Like, who is that? What? They're fighting who? Oh, no. And then they go out there and they're flying in the air. They're spinning elbows. Like, it's amazing. It's wonderful to see. And the crazy part is, even their Amis from that gym, they're doing the same thing. And you've got a couple of their Amis that are in this tournament from other great gyms. So I think the event itself is going to be amazing, and it's going to do a lot for the sport, especially like on the East Coast and stuff, because normally when you see these huge events and these monster sponsors taking on fighters and everything else and the great payouts and stuff, they're normally on the West Coast. Lion Fight Promotion just started running shows not too long ago on the East Coast. And some of those cards are almost, unless you live like 50 yards from the plate, like they're almost impossible to get on, So just being able to open up another event and turn it huge, and like up in New York, there are thousands of fighters, amateurs and pros, and a lot of them are having to fly out of country for fights or fly on the other side of the country. So just being able to have an event there for them as well, it's amazing, and if it grows, then, they'll be able to bring some more fighters in. I know March the 10th, we're trying to plan an event and bring some international fighters over here, so some of our guys don't have to leave. We're just going to bring them over here and let them fight them on our terms, and have fun.
I'll tell you what, and I'm looking forward to that, and you're guaranteed to see this ugly mug there at those fights, JR. I promise you that. Now, sponsors are huge. It's so important for fighters, for the sport to get out there. We need these sponsors.
I definitely do. One of my main sponsors is actually sponsoring the event. Monco. It's a great company. They don't have a super huge line, but the line that they have is like the quality is second to none. It's authentic. She has everything made in her warehouses in Thailand, and then it ships over here. She inspects them herself, and for this event, she's actually going to fly in from California and actually sit ringside for this event. It's actually going to be her birthday. Also, another one of my major sponsors is going to be Dragon Doe. I actually have a couple of the things here. All right, I have this new glove. It's going to be a 2.0. It's a great training glove. I've actually used it 3 or 4 times. Of their products, though, I like some of their higher end stuff a little bit more, just because I have smaller wrist. So anything that gives me that extra protection when I'm training and stuff like that, and keeps me healthy for my fights, I love. But this is one of their the least expensive gloves. This glove runs about anywhere from $45 to $55. It is durable. I've put it through its test because I hit pretty freaking hard. I don't have any chipping on this one or the other one. It is comfortable. It's lightweight, and it's got a lot of padding where it counts. Also, I just love the shorts. The retro shorts are amazing, and you're able to do custom work with them, just in case you have other sponsors and everything else too. It's they're inexpensive, but they're high quality. Oh, by the way, hey Anthony, got you something, brother. I'll bring this up to the fight, and you can train in them. Actually, our last fight, talked my sponsor Dragon Doe into giving them some training gear and everything else, because it's hard to find good clothing sponsors. Those clothing sponsors that want to continuously jump at the bit to send you stuff and everything else to get their names out there. Well, a lot of them have crummy gear. You put it on and you pull one stitch off of it and the whole leg falls off. But, this is really good, inexpensive, quality gear. So what I like to do is, since they send me extra stuff, why not give my opponent some of this stuff so they, maybe they might love it and fall in love with it.
A little voodoo on that, little voodoo on that short, sir. And then a little bit of luck for Anthony. Make sure when he gets those that he knows JR sent them.
Oh yeah. They've already been to a witch doctor. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, they're amazing shorts. I actually wish I had a pair of my other shorts to show you guys, but it's one of those. Nobody gets to see them until the event, but you guys will definitely get to see them on those ones. Those ones are going to be monocle. and also my monocle, my headgear, my pair of jets, and everything else. My mother-in-law, she actually does crochet and stitching and everything else, and she got on and she did a YouTube video, and she's like, "Hey, JR, I can do that." I was like, "Oh, go ahead and do it, and I'll bring one mine, that I actually ordered from Thailand, the professionals." And no joke, she showed me hers, and I was like, "Oh crap!" And I started fooling around. I was like, "It's freaking amazing." So I think I might get her to make a couple of those and bring those up there to the event. So if anybody's interested in a couple of those, they can definitely get those. But I'm hoping that before the event, I can pick up a few more paid sponsors, to help out with travel and everything else. Because even though I love the sport and I love doing it, in order to continue to do it, we still need that help from those sponsors, and we're always willing to help them grow as a company as well. We get their name out there. We do all this stuff. They don't have to even have to put that in their budget for marketing. Because what's better marketing than seeing someone wearing your stuff smack someone upside the head? The fans love it. They see it. They're at events. If your stuff's at the event, hey man, I love that. Hey man, dude, they want to emulate us, so they're going to buy the same stuff that we have on. And some of these sponsors, they're not understanding that. They're wanting this national deal. Well, hey, you know what? We don't all start off national. We start off on some of these smaller shows and these medium range shows, and we keep those sponsors who were with us for these shows for the bigger ones. So when we make these bigger shows and we get these calls from huge sponsors and everything else, you know what? We're still loyal, and we're not going to talk to you anymore.
And but that's huge. And that's something that I'm passionate about as well, because, knowing how hard the athletes train, knowing what you go through, the diet, the two-a-days, working your job, taking care of your family, to put on a show for the fans. I mean, there's so much into it, and the sponsors really have such a huge role. And when they do step up, the fighters are loyal, and it is appreciated, big time. And that is something that makes the difference when you're able to train. It's hard for people to believe that you have one of the best fighters in the world, and he's working a full-time job and still able to perform at that level on fight night. If you can imagine him just training, that's a whole different animal.
Yeah, like without sponsors, what I end up doing, and most of the other fighters end up doing, is like, heck, half of our monthly salary is just spent on paying for training and gear. Yeah. So when we have those extra finances and those extra things, we're able to relax. We're able to open up. We're not worried about, oh my God, I've got to go in here and be the best person, the best fighter that I can be, and that sticks to you. You start making mistakes instead of going out and having fun and doing what you love. When you love what you're doing, you'll never work a day of your life. And I'm a firm believer of that.
I can speak to that as a blessed man that is able to do what I do in the fight game and be able to speak to extremely intelligent guys that I'm humbled by, like yourself, JR, and then to be able to watch you guys get in there and just, mess it up and really go to town and give the fans a show. And that's what's coming up on the 18th of November. You guys, listen, you don't want to miss it. The Elm Course Center in Queens, New York, November 18th. You're going to see this man here. Anthony, JR Hines is going to go in there, and Anthony's going to have to try to deal with this man. It's going to be one hell of a fight. I'm looking forward to it. JR, thank you, brother, for coming on the show so much. And any last words you got for Anthony or anybody?
Well, first I want to say thank you for having me on the show. I really enjoyed it, and I love talking to you. Anyways, you're a really colorful guy. As far as Anthony, brother, train hard. I've been training hard, and I'm sure you've been training hard and everything else. And above all, brother, have fun, because it's what we do. We love doing it. There's not going to be no hard feelings when we get in there. Hey, it's business. When we leave, hell, I'll buy you a beer if you drink. But when we get in there, we're there to fight. So train for it. Let's have some fun.
There you go, guys. Listen, I can't say it enough. Muay Thai. You have got to check it out. If you're not a fan, you will be. Don't miss it. November 18th at the Elm Corps, Queens, New York. We're going to see one hell of a show. So for Modern Pugilist Entertainment, for Mr. JR Hines, I'm Dan Cox. We will see you next time.